Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? Hi, everybody. I am here today with somebody that I consider a friend and all-around superhero herself. She is about to inspire you, so much so that you probably should pull over and take notes. Erika Sinner, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. I am excited to chat with you and hear your story.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. It is such an honor to be here and equal. Like, I adore you.
Oh, well, good. The feeling is mutual.
Yes.
So, you guys, you know my personal journey. There is some really cool synergy with Erika that I'm excited for us to talk about. But before we go there, let's just hear about who you are and what you do. And all the good things.
All the good things. Let's see. How do we say this in a short version? I am a Inc. 5000 founder and CEO. I have a company that helps small to mid-sized pharmaceutical companies commercialize and bring really important products to market. I have written a best-selling book around pets being family, where I'm advocating for organizations to include pet bereavement leave because pets are part of your family.
Absolutely.
And lately, I have turned my attention from corporate culture to transforming hospital culture. And I do that by introducing TinySuperheroes to hospitals and organizations where we help kids who have medical challenges feel like the superheroes that they are.
See what I mean? I told you. So many good things. So you would hear that kind of intro and think that you probably had it all figured out from the very beginning. And for you, that is not the case. I would love for you to talk a little bit about where you started, because I think that it is so inspirational. And yeah, the audience is going to love this story. So how did your story start?
You know, my publicist would say I come from humble beginnings and moved into my professional career. But if we're just being really honest, I grew up in a trailer park. My dad did not pick us to be his family. And it was a rough childhood with my mom. She did the best that she could, but there was a lot of illness that happened there as well. But I wouldn't change anything. I think it taught me the power of choosing myself every day. And even if my parents didn't choose me, to choose myself every single day, being an example of what is possible when you do that. And that you can come from nothing and create the life that you want. And so I'm really proud of it.
You should be. And isn't it amazing? I love that you said that you wouldn't change any of it, because I have said that with my leukemia diagnosis. I mean, You think, who would want that? But hindsight is such a beautiful gift. And I think that when you go through something so challenging, it just makes everything else sweeter and better, and you're thankful for it.
100%. Yes.
So, okay, I want to hear all of the things about all of the amazing work that you're doing. But before we go there, what was your money story? What was your relationship with money growing up with humble beginnings and then being out on your own? How did that shape the person that you were when you were starting out as an adult?
Money has been an interesting relationship for me. I've been really working on that, and especially meeting you and hearing all of the education that you put out, I feel more empowered today. And I'm so proud of that. Because for me, you always hear the sayings, money doesn't grow on trees, or you shouldn't want so much. Or when you see somebody with a lot of money, you think, well, they should be doing this and they should be doing that. And today I'm like, gosh, don't let people shit on you. You can want the things that you want in your life, and it's okay for you to want a big life and a big, beautiful life. But that hasn't always been the case for me. And so I'm still every day trying to really harness the confidence in saying it's okay to want what I want. It's okay to have a big life. And one person making more money doesn't mean another person isn't making money. There isn't a limited amount. We can all add a lot of value and then do really incredible things with it, which is for me, because of my company being one of America's fastest growing companies, being an Inc. 5000
Just
company.
huge.
Yes, it's what allowed for me to acquire TinySuperheroes and then convert it into a nonprofit. And I'm really proud of that.
Well, it's funny because I feel like so often when people are talking about you in rooms that I'm in where you're not there, which happens a lot because you are so impressive, people often skirt over the fact of what you have built with Directory because the other two pieces are so emotionally just tied in this pretty little bow and make people feel good. But it's incredible. I mean, you've built the triple threat, you know? And so how did you approach money going into those things with, you know, wanting what you want, and don't shit on people. And I love that you say that so much, but where did you start? Where did you go to say, okay, let me get right with money. Let me understand how I'm going to make it a tool. Did you have people in your life that were either mentors or family members, or did you learn as you went? What was that next best step that you took?
I think for me, it was learning to invest in myself and learning that investing in yourself also means getting help, building a team, buying back your sanity, your time to sleep. I bootstrapped my company, Directory. Money for me is such a trigger because of how I grew up, but also it is what makes me feel safe by being able to make enough money to know I can pay for my bills. I'm not going to end up in a box on the side of the road or homeless. It was important for me to know how much was in the bank for how long. And even as I brought employees on, really understanding you're not bringing on their entire year's salary, you're bringing on 2 weeks at a time, and also planning for that, but also that you pay for performance and you pay for results. And they're also an active participant as part of the team. That has been a big journey for me, but here we are.
Oh, so you built Directory,
Yes,
and it's amazing, and doing all of these incredible things for you and your family. And then talk about now the fact that you are a New York Times best-selling author.
I wish New York Times. We're going to get there. I'm going to be in the Barnes & Noble in New York on Fifth Avenue in December, but I'm excited about that. I'm also learning it's not bragging when you're just talking about the big things that are happening in your life. So getting comfortable in doing that too. But yeah, I think for me, a big moment was when I lost my dog Kingston 2 years ago. My husband and I chose not to have human kids. Our dogs are our children. I'm really proud of that decision that we made, and not to just move forward with what you think you should be doing. Again, the word should.
Yes.
And today we've really designed a life around, I've retired my husband. He's been at home for almost 3 years now. So he is my stay-at-home dog dad, and he's amazing.
I love that so much.
That's also not been an easy journey for him or for me. But in that time when we lost Kingston, I'd always had pet bereavement as part of my corporate policy, but actually taking it, I didn't realize how I would feel taking it as a female CEO. Would my employees think, does she have it together? Am I instilling confidence? I didn't have it together. And I really found the power of vulnerability and leading with feminine energy and saying, hey, I'm a human being too, and I'm really struggling right now, actually got me closer to my employees. And they felt like I treated them like human beings, and that we weren't just all punching in the time clock. And so it inspired my book. I felt a responsibility to inspire other CEOs to include pet bereavement leave. And that's really what pushed me forward into doing things outside of my company. With Directory, I was so proud of being able to help these smaller brands get into the market space for those patients who needed those medications. And now to actually be using my voice in a different way felt really great. But I'm so happy it all happened the way that it did, because when TinySuperheroes came to the table, I felt confident enough to be able to do it, to say, I can take the guardianship of this and I can take it to the next level because of the other two.
So, a couple of things there that
I
have to pause on. I know it's so good. One of the things I love most about you is how you emulate femininity so well, seamlessly. And I think, when did we change the rules that women had to show up like guys in the workplace as business owners? I love that you lean into that. It is who you are, and whatever that looks like for the person, great. But for you, you did not change who you were. And that is something to truly celebrate. I really think that, and going into the bereavement leave, I mean, we've all been there where you're emotional about something. And then especially around a pet, some people don't get it.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that the lack of empathy that can be there because they are animals and not human beings. It's wild. But I think that it is such an important conversation to be had because the world has changed. I think we have told so many women specifically, I'll say, to build this life that you want and don't feel pressured into having kids or fitting in this mold. And you built something different and saw such a need where so many people are doing that. Why wouldn't that be a conversation that is had amongst owners and board members to say, let's show our employees that however they are creating their life and their family matters to them.
100%.
So incredible. And
Thank
you guys, she has the cutest, I mean, you want to talk about walking the walk? She loves her dogs so much. When we've talked about planning and what your future looks like, she always talks about the dogs because they truly are your family. And not to mention, one of your pups has like a massive following on Instagram.
Oh yes, they have 40,000 followers.
I mean,
These kids. They have more friends than I do.
I want to be them when I grow up, right? It's insane.
Yeah.
So such good work there.
Thank
and
you.
then you obviously talked about TinySuperheroes, which I think some of you may know, but it's obviously with my story, it's something that I am just so bought into because of the journey. It's the worst journey that anyone can go through, especially when you're a kid, and not even for you, but for the people around you. So I love this. I have wrapped my arms around this as much as I can. And for anybody that is part of the Women in Wealth community and what we're doing in that space, this is the cause that will and always be number one, primary on our list because of the work being done. So TinySuperheroes, for anybody that is not familiar, familiarize yourself. There's so many causes out there that get a ton of attention, but they have a national stage and are so established that this is something special because not only is it about kids that are going through really serious diagnoses like I did and so many, but also like NICU babies, which also we unfortunately went through. And one of the ways you were describing it today to someone was it's not so much just about the baby, it's about the family. And that really hit me. And I never thought about it that way. But when you're a mom or a dad or an aunt or an uncle or whomever, and you have what is supposed to be this exciting new addition to your family, and now you're finding yourself in the NICU, no one prepares you for that. No one prepares you for leaving the hospital for the first time without your child because they're staying there. And so to be able to change the narrative and look at this little precious being as a superhero and then watch them accomplish tasks and missions makes it a little bit more fun. So tell everybody what TinySuperheroes is and yes, all the things.
TinySuperheroes focuses on the power of play. And I think as adults, we forget how to play and how to enjoy our lives. And for kids especially, they need play as they get older, as they grow. It's just you want children to be playing. And so what we do is we bring play into a really unexpected place, which is the hospital. You wouldn't expect to be playing there. Hospitals do a really great job of isolating children so that they're safe. There's not a lot of germs. There's not, right? They're keeping them safe. But what that can do for how they feel about themselves, even the language that we use in healthcare, you're born with a birth defect. That means something's wrong. That means you're broken. That means you're not perfect, 10 fingers, 10 toes. And so when I think about Tiny Superheroes, we actually give them a cape, which is a visual cue that you are a superhero. And you're actually not born with a birth defect. You're actually having superpowers. You have to be stronger than everybody else. You have to learn how to walk again, learn how to breathe again. Your body is having to work harder. And they earn their missions through their little patches for every MRI scan, every surgery, every chemo treatment. But we also have a monthly mission program. It goes really beyond the cape, recognizing these kids don't get to be in school. They're not getting to be a part of sports teams. By being able to do the monthly missions with a superhero squad of 300,000 kids across the country, they feel like they belong. And I think that for me, when people ask me, why did you take on Tiny Superheroes? You don't even have human kids of your own. It is the way that I grew up. It is not having the parents that I watch care for our superheroes. The parents really are the superheroes. That makes me emotional. It's parents you wish you had.
Oh my gosh.
But it's also this sense of belonging, that there isn't anything wrong with you. And so when they earn their patches, when they're doing their missions, and you can visually see on their cape their whole journey. And I loved what you said about the NICU babies, because it isn't just about the child and how they feel about themselves, but for the parents, everyone understands superhero culture.
Mm-hmm.
Even for myself, the first time I met a child with cancer, I wasn't sure, what do you say? But when you see them with their capes, the words come so easy. It's, you are so strong. Look how brave you are. And they're showing off their capes and like, look at all the missions I went on. I had an MRI scan. I had a CT scan. I've had 7 surgeries. And being an entrepreneur, being a woman, how you feel about yourself changes everything. And so if a child can feel like everything they've experienced has been missions that they have been proudly through, if the parents can see their children as superheroes, and even for those parents in the NICU, when they're talking to their family and they see the little cape on their baby, the way they tell their family, my superhero today was so strong, they got off the breathalyzer, the breathing machine, they got off of the oxygen. That's a different story than when you send the text updates and it's like, well, they took the one machine off today, but I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
But there's a level of anxiety that comes when you're not sitting in a position of strength and play and seeing them for who they really are.
Well, and even with bringing play back to kids that should be outside playing anyway,
Yes.
it does, I think, also give you a visual and a reminder that they are just kids.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes.
hard when you see this poor little nugget sitting in a bed
Yeah.
and they have wires all over them.
Yeah.
And it allows you to not look at them as a sick kid for a minute.
Yes.
And I remember when I was sick, you know, I was a senior in high school, or going into my senior year. I cheered and did all these things. I had a ton of support, but I remember always thinking, people come in and they spend an hour in that reality and then they leave.
Yes.
And it's very isolating. You
Yeah.
don't want to belong to the club that you're in.
Yep.
And the club you do want to belong in, there's no way you can get out there until you are allowed.
Yeah.
So it gives them, like you said, a sense of belonging and being part of something and connecting. And I just think that it's so good. And whoever said to you, oh, you don't even have human babies, why would you want to do this?
Yep.
I mean, who would say that, first of all?
It's the oddest society. I mean, even with my dog, right? Just get another dog. It's like, would you ever say that to someone? No. But there's something really special about Tiny Superheroes where, you know, out of the 6,000 hospitals that there are in the United States, only 226 of them are children's hospitals. And not all of those children's hospitals have brightly colored rooms. Not all of them get the celebrity visits. Not all of them get the extra things. And you actually don't need all of that. When a child walks into a hospital wearing a cape, everyone from the receptionist to the janitor to patients coming in for treatment engage with that child. And they're telling them, oh my gosh, look at you, you're a superhero. And that's all children want, is to feel seen and to feel special. And they are. So we're really proud of what we're doing with our capes and patches.
I love that so much. And I want to also say that what you're doing is living in the public eye on your own terms, I think is so needed right now. You know, putting the emphasis on the things that matter to you, living in a non-traditional marital role. I also have those conversations with people where they will call, you know, your husband Mr., your maiden name. And there's such this narrative around it that can make it not feel good. And you guys have changed the way that anybody that knows you would see that. And I just think that it is so powerful.
It is. My husband and I will go to a golf course and they'll ask him, well, you're here in the middle of the week. What are you doing? And he'll say, oh, I'm retired. He's like, my wife has a business. And they're like, what is it, Mary Kay? Or like, what does she sell? Like Tupperware? And he's like, no. It's, or even when we filed for directory under our EIN number, getting our tax documents, our accountant put my husband's social security number first. He thought it was his company, even though I was answering all the questions. I was submitting all of the documents. He was just with me. So we face that a lot. And I actually have a lot of fun correcting and setting a new standard for what's possible.
We've got to do better.
Yeah.
I feel like I say that all the time and I look at the camera and say, we've got to do better. But can you imagine walking in and seeing your husband's social security number
to get it changed
on business documents just because he's the boy? It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap this up, you're a busy lady, have things to tend to. What is one piece of advice around building your financial landscape that you think women need to hear from someone like you? Either something that you did really well or a mistake that you made that maybe by hearing it from you, they can avoid.
I would say to know that it's okay to want things and it's okay to want a big life, because by having a big life, it gives us opportunities to do a lot of good in the world. And I don't think that's not what we hear. We hear play small, be a good girl, don't be too loud, don't take up too much space. And I call BS on all of it. And I think it's okay to want the things that you want in money, in life. I told my husband, I was like, men have trophy wives. Why can't I have a trophy husband? Right? Like, just flip the script on all things and do what makes you happy.
And build the life that you want.
Yes.
Define what success looks like for you. If it means having 4 puppies and pool parties when you're retired instead of putting 4 human kids through college, that is amazing.
Yes, which I'm paying for my nephew's college. That's what I mean of people don't always have to know all of the things, and you don't have to explain what you're doing in your life. I love when people ask, how many dogs do you have? I'm like, we have 4, and you see the big eyes. Wow, that's a lot. I'm like, yeah, it's a house full of love.
Can you imagine if we did, and I guess some people might with kids, but
yeah.
Oh, you have 4?
Right.
That's a lot.
Nobody says these things.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, what's next for you?
Oh my gosh. I want TinySuperheroes to be a household name. I want to be in all 6,000 hospitals, not just in the 226. Every week, what weighs on me is our wait list of superheroes waiting to be activated. It's only $29 to give the gift of courage, strength, and hope to a superhero who's waiting. And so that's my big, as I continue to push forward with my company and advocate for the medications that need to make it to market, as I continue to want to inspire CEOs to have compassionate policies like pet bereavement leave and treat their employees like human beings, not robots. But my heart has really settled in on reminding us all we need to play more, and how we feel about ourselves can have a ripple effect that is generational and big.
I love that. And for anyone listening, where can they follow along? Where can they contribute to TinySuperheroes and just know more about you?
So my Instagram has all of my updates. Instagram, Erika_Sinner, and it really is Sinner. It's the craziest last name, but I'm owning it proudly. LinkedIn has a lot of updates, but TinySuperheroes.com is where you can contribute to the mission, and we would be so grateful.
I would too. I love it. Let's do good, love on these little kiddos, and keep writing the version of life that feels authentic to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. I adore you. And I hope that everyone listening gets to follow along and see good work in real time and what the tool that is money can do for not only you, but others. So as always, like, share, subscribe, and let's change the way women think and feel about money together.